Hi, my name is Jana Kaz. I work for the School of Economics and Business. And since you said how the ambassador can help you, I have a specific question. So I want to know how the U.S. Embassy, would it be possible for the U.S. Embassy in Sarajevo to work as a link, as a mediator between our public universities and universities in the States? Because it's very important to increase the number of incoming and outgoing students. And we have two problems. First problem is the brain drain. We have a lot of young people who do get the international experience and never come back. So we need to do something to get them back here. For example, I also had the opportunity to study in the States and I came back. And the second question is, what is the United States doing to change the perception, negative perception the world has since about Bosnia and Herzegovina? Because, yes, for example, I mentioned the link between the universities because yesterday, for example, we had preliminary discussions with the Duke University, but it would be much easier if we had the US Embassy for the first contact, and we'll do the rest of the work. We just need the embassy to be the first contact and to get the students coming to Bosnia and going abroad.
Great idea, and we will do it, Ambassador. Write that down. We will definitely do that. And I will go even further. I will assign someone in the State Department to work with the ambassador and to work with our universities in the United States, because I think you're absolutely right. We need more interactions between our universities. We need more exchanges. We need more programs that we can share. So we will definitely follow up on that. And secondly, I don't think people have a negative view of Bosnia-Herzegovina. I think that they are holding their breath. I think that there is a very positive feeling about what you overcame and the progress of the last 15 years. But as we would say, the jury seems to be out. Are you going to make the right decisions, or, as the gentleman in the back asked, have problems that lead to more distrust, more division, and more paralysis? Obviously, I'm here because I'm betting that you're going to make the right decisions, and we want to help you do that. So I think that the attitude, at least in the United States, towards your country is positive, but unsure about what comes next and how best to help. We know that there are some big problems that many countries have that you're fighting, corruption being one. Corruption's a big cancer in so many societies. I want to attract more American businesses to Bosnia-Herzegovina. In order to do that, they have to believe that it's a good climate to do business. So we've got to cut through all the red tape. You've got to make it easier for people here in the country as well as coming from outside. There are so many ways of doing that. And one thing that I would just underscore, and it comes from Sasha's questions from Facebook. With technology today, you can streamline government services, you can hold leaders accountable, you can share information about what's working and what's not working in ways that my generation could not. Again, just a few examples. In a society as closed as Syria, technology is forcing it open. Just in the last month, students began complaining about teachers who didn't show up and teachers who were physically abusive in the classroom. And all the teachers work for the state. Nobody listened to the students. So the students began recording it and putting it on YouTube. And all of a sudden, the government paid attention. Or in Colombia, which has had a running battle with the drug traffickers and the insurgents called FARC. Many people killed, kidnapped, terrible abuses. A young man called for a huge rally. He did it all on the internet. Called for young people to come and demonstrate against the drug traffickers. Thousands and thousands of people showed up. So you actually have more power because of technology than previous generations did. And using that technology to improve accountability, to report corruption, to streamline government, to cross divided lines. Like suppose you started, Facebook sites where people of the different backgrounds here would actually talk to each other in an honest conversation. Not sugarcoating it, but saying, I need to understand why you feel this way, or why can't you participate more constructively in a positive future? There are lots of things you can do right now without waiting to be finished with your education, without waiting to be part of the government or the political, economic leadership. So I think that your question is a good one because you can help change the attitude about Bosnia-Herzegovina within the country and around the world by using technology.
And before we move to the next question, we've seen some new ideas here from young people and so many questions. How encouraging do you see it is for the future of the country?
It's so encouraging. It's incredibly encouraging to me. I mean, I do these events around the world, and this is one of the best group of questions that I've ever had. And I think it just goes to prove what I happen to believe, that this country has unlimited potential.
Thank you very much. The next question. Lady, please.
First of all, it's a pleasure to have you here, Lady Secretary. My name is Emila Kurtovic, and I'm a state alumni. I was representing my country, Bosnia and Herzegovina, 2 years ago in the Ben Franklin Summer Institute, which brought together youth from 45 countries all over Eurasia and United States to foster positive relationships between us. And so we had various ethnical, national, and religious groups there. Since the program is time limited, I was wondering, would the American government be interested in supporting or creating more programs, more similar programs, which would gather youth from every single continent? So not only Eurasia and United States, so that they can have a chance to experience something like that, because that was easily the best experience I've ever had. Thank you very much.
Could I ask you a question before you sit down? When you say it was the best experience, what did you learn from it? Why do you think it would be important for the United States to support it or programs like it?
Main thing that we learned was to choose tolerance over intolerance, to work with each other, to respect everyone equally. I mean, we had participants from Kosovo and from Serbia at the same time, and they didn't care about the issues that their countries are going through, because they realized, okay, we are friends, we can have a dialogue, we can interact together. It's not a problem if you really want to do it. So I think that's the main thing that we learned there. Thank you very much.
That's a great phrase, choose tolerance over intolerance. I will remember that, and I will follow up on what you've said, because I agree with you. Programs like this, which is what I have been suggesting, the United States can help support, and we will do so. And I can't speak to the specific program, but programs like that, where young people have a chance to interact with each other, listen to each other, learn from each other, and as you say, choose tolerance over intolerance is a high priority of mine. So we will work on that.
Thank you.
So now I have all this homework from you.
Young lady over there. Please.
I apologize, but first of all, I'll have to go back to what you said about President Obama and yourself. You said that you like or you love the same state. And I have to say that unfortunately, this is the major problem that we have. Our politicians, more often than not, prefer other countries over our own country. So I just had to comment on that. And my question, for the sake of my children and for the sake of all future generations, is, do you see a Bosnia and Herzegovina with one single president and a less complicated administration? Thank you.
Lady, but we didn't hear your name, please.
Aida Mujezinović.
Thank you very much.
Well, first of all, speaking for myself, I would like to see constitutional reform in Bosnia-Herzegovina that would lead to a more effective and functioning government. Remember, the current framework was created to end a war, and it did so. And for that, I think we should all be grateful. But now with 15 years of experience, I do think constitutional reform would be beneficial. But again, it's not something that can be imposed from the outside. It has to be generated from the leaders and the people here. But as to your first question, yes, it is true that we both love our country, but I think it's also fair to say that in different parts of our own history, not only could Barack Obama not have been elected president, I would not have been permitted to vote. My own mother was born before women could vote in the United States. So we had to overcome a lot of these obstacles in our own history. And that is what I'm really urging each of you to think through, because there isn't any obstacle that cannot be overcome if people of goodwill are attempting to do so. So that in the future, your children will have the feeling that they are part of one nation, and that in that nation exists diversity. That's one of the reasons I love my own country so much, because it is so diverse. I can walk down the street in New York and I can see people from everywhere. And those people work hard every day to live their own lives and get along with each other. Now, sometimes something terrible happens. Some crime is committed. Some discrimination occurs. But we have systems now in place that we didn't have 100 years ago or even 50 years ago. We now have systems in place to guard against that and to hold people accountable.